Good morning. Charlie O'Hara here in the studio. If you've got a legal question, go ahead, get on the line right now and give us a call, 436-1212. Good morning, Charlie.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm trying to stay cool.
Okay. Good luck in that black suit.
Yeah,
I know
it's going to be a little
tough,
tough.
I'm sure. We're going to go ahead and get to the phones this morning. A few calls on the line right now for Charlie. Hi there. What's your question?
Yes, I'd like to know, unless otherwise specified, what happens to an individual's property, home, land, vehicles, upon their death or passing?
Okay.
Well, there's kind of a way that it goes according to statute, which is the laws of Kansas, and it would, if you're married, it would go to your wife or husband, and if you're married and children, but your wife has passed away, then it would go to the children that you have, and actually, it's all set by statute, so you have to go through it all, and it goes in a uniform way because it's a real problem when people do it. It keeps going on out to your relatives. So if you didn't have any children and you weren't married, then it would probably go to your parents. And if your parents weren't around, then it would go to your brother and sister or whatever you have as siblings. So it would go like that. So it's a little hard to answer until I know your whole family tree and what's going on, but there's a procedure that it goes, and it's pretty uniform.
Okay, great question. I mean, I know that's kind of difficult sometimes, and that's why it is so important to have a will, a living will.
Well, a will helps because it lets you choose where it goes, and actually at times, if you don't have a will and you're married and you have kids, half of it goes to your kids and half of it goes to the wife or husband, which puts the family maybe in kind of a problem.
Okay.
So it's usually better to have a will. It isn't usually very expensive from an attorney. They can do them pretty simply. Unless you have a whole bunch of property or are very wealthy, it's pretty simple to do, and it's probably worth doing.
Okay.
Okay.
Great question. We have time for another one this morning. Hi there. What's your question for Charlie?
Yes, I have a family member, nephew, that is just drinking himself to death. Is there a way, he lives in the Lenexa area, to get him committed to a detox program of some kind?
Actually, there is, and it's usually, at least in our county, it goes through the district attorney's office, and it's basically somebody's either a harm to themselves or others, and you can petition the court. It's usually up in probate court that you do that, and you can go fill out a petition. Of course, the person's going to know that you've done that to them, so you're going to have to tell them, and you're going to have to explain why you think they're a danger, and if they're just drunk all the time and can't do anything and it's becoming a danger to either themselves or someone else, then they can make them go to treatment. So they can do that, and there's a method to do that.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. Good luck with that. Sorry to hear about that. We have time now for one more call this morning. Hi there. What's your question for Charlie?
Yeah, my daughter has been living with a guy for 2 years, gone living spree, bought furniture under their, as if they were married names. Now they're separating. Do they need to get a divorce? And what happens if he doesn't pay for the furniture?
Well, obviously, when you're living together, that's always a problem because in Kansas, we do have common law marriage where you can choose to be married without a formal ceremony. However, in that case, it sounds like they're not, so they need to divide up the property. Somebody needs to get it paid for. And if they don't want to be married, and I guess if they filled out a form falsely, that's not very good, and they shouldn't have done that, so they need to get that paid off if they weren't married. It is an indication that they may have been married. So the best thing for them to do is get that paid off and go their separate ways. If they have children or something like that, it becomes very complicated. If you own real estate, it becomes even more complicated.
And what happens if the one person doesn't want to pay it off? I mean, do you have to go see an attorney then, since you both were signed on that furniture?
Well, you probably both own it, so whoever wants to keep their credit good is going to have to pay it off.
Ooh, okay. Thank you, Charlie.
Okay.
Good luck with that. Thanks so much for calling in. Charlie, we'll see you next week.
All right.